Cope Queens, episode 15, To Help or Not to Help. In this episode, we discuss common pitfalls of helping and supporting those who may not deserve it. You're listening to the Cope Queens podcast, where every Wednesday, co-hosts Elaina Jones and Tracy Hampton challenges mental health stigmas through sharing personal experiences, storytelling, interviews, and roundtable discussions about everyday life challenges. This podcast in no way is a replacement for mental health treatment. To learn more, please visit copequeens.com. Now, without further ado, let's cope together.
Hey, Elaina.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good too. I'm gonna tell you now, I have squirrel mentality right now, meaning I'm the
Uh-oh.
shiny object girl and I'm hella distracted by everything.
Listeners, that's your warning.
So I have
Just
no
keep up.
idea what this I have no idea what this conversation, how it's gonna go, what I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna share, but just I'm asking for forgiveness now. I was really thinking about when people reach out and say, hey, can you recommend me for this? Like, even when it comes to LinkedIn and people writing recommendations, and what do you look for when you decide that you're going to help someone get a job or recommend them for something?
I learned this the hard way. So initially, it would be to the point where I've worked with people on projects before where I didn't have direct experience of how well of a job they did, but I know from an interpersonal standpoint, they seem to get along well with folks on the project,
Mm-hmm.
seem to do a good job where they've reached out to me and I'm like, hey, I don't mind recommending you because they were a pleasure to work with. So the hard part came in where I had someone ask that I recommend them for a job and they were actually a designer like you and I. I knew that they had decent design chops, felt okay recommending them until afterwards the hiring manager called me like, what the hell was that? Why,
It was
why
that
did you
deep.
send me? Yes. And she didn't go into details on what exactly this person said. But to me, and you and I have been on plenty of interviews, that first interview, it's not that hard. So if you can't make it past that first one and the person's calling me like,
Maybe
what
it's
the hell?
performance anxiety. People get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It it opened my eyes like, okay, Tracy, you're gonna have to be careful who you start recommending for roles because at that point now it's like I know this hiring manager is still looking for someone, but I know the next person I recommend would have to be top notch. Otherwise, my name is mud. And you want to keep those connections.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things where I am very particular when I put my name on somebody. You know, I have friends that are like, hey, can I put you down as a reference? Yeah, you can put me down as a reference. But there are
Hmm.
some people where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to answer that call.
You bogus?
um, I mean, it's very, very few and far between.
Yeah,
But for me, it's one of those things where it's integrity. And I have to
yeah.
truly trust that if I recommend you, that you're going to show up to show out.
Hmm.
And being a consultant and working, contractually, I meet a lot of people who do the same thing I do. And so you build this network of people and you get to know everyone's skills and what everyone is good at. So when opportunities come up that maybe I'm not available for, I can be like, hey, can I give your information to this person? Or can I send you this person? Like, I don't have a problem with doing that for people who I actually know can
Hmm.
do the job.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to randomly give somebody's information if I don't know. I want to keep that connection going because I may be on to my next contract and need the, and they be
Hmm.
like, because you sent me some hot No, I'm not
Hmm.
going to do that. Um, but I will tell you that I have had an experience similar to yours, and it was a long time ago. And I think the reason why I became very picky is because you build relationships with people and you think you're all friends and everybody got everybody back. And I'm one of those people, I want to see everybody win.
Yeah.
Doesn't Even if you surpass me, I want to see you win,
Hmm.
whatever that
Yes.
looks like. And I made a recommendation like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be a reference. Yeah, put me down. But then it was like, can you tell them I did this and can you tell them I did that? You ain't do that though.
Exactly. Oh
Can
my
you tell them my
God.
title was this? But that wasn't your title. Like, no,
Yes.
you want me to lie for you. I'm not going to lie for you. Now, I can
Yes.
stretch the truth of responsibilities, but I'm not going to just
Yeah.
blatantly say you're capable of doing something that you're actually not qualified for.
Exactly.
I'm not doing you a favor or me.
That is
Why would you
hilarious.
why would you want a job that you're not qualified for?
Exactly. I used to have that conversation. You know, I used to do resumes for a while, and I would have to have that conversation with folks, and one guy in particular, because he wanted me to put stuff on his resume that just wasn't true. And I would tell him, we're going to have a conversation. I'll interview you. I'll do the resume, but I'm not going to put anything on here that isn't true. And you shouldn't want that, because you're going to have to, like the resume, it may get you a phone call, but you're going to have to speak to this in an interview. And they're going to ask some pretty in-depth questions to make sure that you've actually done the work. I wouldn't be so quick to cop to something I haven't done.
Yeah. And then when you get the job, the amount of stress that you're putting yourself under, because now you've gotten the job and you can't do anything that's expected of you.
Yeah.
I had an experience once where I was leading this project. I can't have anyone that doesn't know how to use the tool. I don't have time to teach you that. And it was amazing to me how many agencies had doctored the resume to match what we were looking for. And when these poor babies came into this interview, I put them through the test. I basically took an e-learning, broke it, and said, fix it. And no one, when I say no one, we're talking 10 people. No one knew how to do it. They couldn't fix it. But there was one particular person. I could tell how disappointed she was. And I remember I looked over at the hiring manager when she left and I said, that's who you want to hire. She was like, but she doesn't know the software you just said. And I said, but she was disappointed. And I said, I guarantee you, if you bring her back for a second interview, she gonna know how to do it, because it's gonna drive her crazy that she didn't know as much as she thought she knew. I reached out to her afterwards and I said, look, if you can learn this and prove that you learned it, I might be able to convince her. And sure enough, we interviewed her a second time the week later and it worked. So yeah, I'm going to go to bat for someone if I see something in you to go to bat for.
Yeah.
And I'm also a believer that you got to be able to learn how to help yourself.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Now, have you been in a situation where it's been reverse, where you've reached out to folks and you did or didn't get the response you expected?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And get it as, I think sometimes you're in situations that may be personal, right? When it comes to my professional life, I don't really look at anything personally, but I know that others do. And that's your prerogative. But if we disagree on something, I'm one of the people like, let bygones be bygones, because I don't have to like you to respect you professionally. We don't need to be friends. We don't need to hold hands and sing kumbaya and braid each other's hair. I'm okay with that. But if you know my work ethic, and I'm reaching out to say, hey, I'm seeking a new opportunity. I see that XYZ company that you now work at has got this position open. Would you pass along a recommendation or slide my resume to the top? When people either don't respond or they do the, yeah, I don't really have any influence in that department. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to reach out to you. We not cool like I thought we were.
Yes. And that was my situation exactly, where, and I think that's where, and like you, I don't look for handout. I have a really strong work ethic. I try to keep that, because you never know. In our profession, our circle is small. Even if people don't know you, they're going to know someone who knows you or who worked with someone who worked with you. So I do try to keep my reputation at a high level. To me, it says something, and I think I take it personally when it's someone that I went out of my way to recommend or to make sure that they at least got their foot in the door for an interview, and then you reach out and you don't hear anything. I don't take it personally. I don't know. Maybe I do, but it's to the point where it's like, yeah.
It sounds like you take it a little personally.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to even lie. I'm not going to lie. I do, but it's like, now I look at it like, okay, that's cool. We don't have the relationship that I thought. Just know that you can't ask me. And the thing is, when it comes to jobs, opportunities, things come and go. I always live by the motto, you never know who you may need in the future. You be on top today, but you don't know what tomorrow looks like. So it's like, if you're okay burning that bridge with me, That's totally fine with me.
I'm a little conceited in the sense that I'm like, you will need me way before I'll need you.
Yeah, I think that too. Yeah. That must be an Aquarius thing.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, I learned my lesson. You only get one opportunity to burn me.
Mm-hmm.
And once I feel like you're not someone that has my back, I'm not going to go above and beyond for you. I do think that there's this perception or expectation amongst some of us, and maybe it exists in other cultures as well, but I'm not part of that dynamic, so I don't know. But I do think that within some of the African American communities, some of us look at each other like, help a brother out, help a sister out. Just because we are Black does not mean that I have to put myself on the line for you. Now, what it does is give you the opportunity to share your journey with me, and I can decide at that point if I want to help you. But it's still my decision, and I have every right to make that. I don't owe you anything.
Absolutely.
And it frustrates me when I feel like it's perceived as we have to help each other. Now, that does not mean be crappy to each other. We should try to support and uplift each other. What are you doing to uplift yourself?
Exactly.
So I'll give you an example of, so everybody has clarity. I have someone in my life who has been in my life for a very, very long time. And they struggle with staying employed. And there was one summer, I spent the whole summer writing resumes, sending out resumes, driving them to interviews, bought them clothes for their interview, and they finally got a job and had it for 2 weeks.
Oh my God. They didn't even see a check, did they?
By the law, they would have had to get paid for the work that they did. But now, keep in mind, at the time, I was also unemployed, but I was putting my effort into them finding a job.
Yeah.
I knew I was okay. I had savings, and I was taking time off for myself. Mental health cleansing. Have to do that when you leave certain employers, but we ain't gonna say no names. But I was there for 8 years. I met you there. But anyway.
No names.
I needed a whole wellness clinic after that. In that moment, after that experience, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put that much effort. If I care more than you, how does that work? Yeah,
that's sad.
I think that there is definitely a balancing act that occurs when we do decide to help someone. But I'm also that person where you help, and you have to help just from the goodness of your heart and not expect anything in return. Yeah. But that does not mean that I have to continue to help you after you burn me or screw up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at some point you either sink or swim, and I don't like getting my hair wet, so I'm not jumping in to save you. We
pretty much were going to say the same thing. And like I said, it's your reputation at a certain point. So you have to have those limits and those boundaries in place.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing I don't truly understand. I don't understand in working environments, tends to be so much opposition amongst certain females.
Oh my God.
Typically females in leadership. Now I understand that in a professional environment, we as women have the difficult task of proving ourselves and working ourselves up through the ranks. But once you've got the position, you can stop trying to prove yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dealing with a situation similar where it's hell. It's like, I don't know what.
Tell us how you really feel.
It is. It really is like hell. It's like, oh my God. Because I guess I'm one of those, I'm not naive. Been in a working game, I've plenty of jobs, working for a long time. Not naive in the slightest. But at the same time, I look at, especially when it comes to women, I don't look for special treatment because I'm going to come in and I'm going to do my job. Because if I report to you, me doing a good job is making me look good, and it's also making you look good. I like to get my bonuses. I like to perform at a certain level because I want to get all of my bonus because I have plans for my bonus before it even hits my account. But I feel like there's some situations where there's some women in leadership, they feel like they have to prove something to who knows who, and they make it extra hard for other women. And I don't understand that. And I look for me and that woman, whoever that may be, for us to have, I don't want to say connection because it sounds kind of fuzzy for it to be a professional environment, but I feel like there should be a base level of understanding. We're minorities in the workplace. Yeah. Especially if it's a Black woman. I feel like we're a double minority in the workplace. Don't need you taking a sword for me. I'm going to do what I need to do. But why make it harder for another woman when you already know what we're against in corporate America? I never understand that. But I feel like it's insecurity. I feel like sometimes it's that fear that maybe their trust isn't there, where they feel like you're trying to go for their job. I really don't know, but it's really sad. It really is. Because not only now you're dealing with all the typical things you have to deal with as a woman in corporate America, but then on top of that, you have to deal with this toxic relationship between another woman in the workplace. And it's really sad.
It truly is. And it's just one of those things that's always baffled me, because I can tell you, when I think back, I've probably have worked with 2 female leaders that I truly felt had my back. It was a mutual respect. For the most part, my best relationships with my manager, like someone I report to, would have been a male. And I've been told that I can come off as intimidating. I'm 5'1". I don't feel that I'm intimidating. I think part of it is when I speak with confidence. I mean, why would I not speak with confidence? So I don't know if that is what people find intimidating. I had one manager tell me once that whenever she talks to me, I talk to her like she's stupid. And I said to her, I talk to you like I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But yet you're the only one that feels inadequate. Yeah. So that to me sounds more like a you issue, not an Elaina issue. Because what I will not do is be responsible or accountable for your feelings. Now, unless I said you're stupid, don't put words in my mouth. I mean, she was stupid. That's neither here nor there. But God, I never said it. But I think, and yes, we're talking about serious stuff, and there's a lot of people that are going through it right now. And I'm one of those people where it's like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I think a lot of it goes back to that self-worth and that self-love. And I feel like when you are a whole person, you are not worried about other people. And you just trying to do the best that you can to get through your day and to grow and develop in your career. Because I'm sorry, for me, it takes way too much time, effort, and energy to not like somebody. It's easier for me to just interact with you as I interact with everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of effort for me not to like you. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to just be an ass.
Yeah.
That's too much energy.
Yeah.
You probably aren't worth all of that. We like to think highly of ourselves.
I was going to say half the people that I would probably spend time not liking, you could tell already they don't like themselves. And it's like, I'm not going to choose this as the moment that I'm going to agree with you. So you go ahead and not like yourself. And I'll be over here not caring.
My mom used to be a bank supervisor. My mom was behind the teller line, and she overheard, and it was 2 younger African-American girls. And one of them whispered to the other one, like, she thinks she cute. And my mom turned to her and said, no, you think I'm cute. And they wonder where I get it from. Someone hasn't said something to you and you walk away with this perception, oh, they think they know everything. No, you think they know everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you perceive it. That doesn't make it reality. That's why it's like when they throw out that term, perception is reality. No, your reality could be to thinking one thing based on your experiences.
Exactly.
But that doesn't make it real.
Yeah, you're just projecting onto me.
Yep, don't project onto me. I think we just have to get to a place where if we start focusing more on ourselves and stop worrying about everyone else, do some good for somebody else. If you believe that that person deserves it, and if they don't, maybe have a conversation to help them understand what they need to do to deserve your help. Because I'll be honest, everybody don't deserve it. You ain't doing anything to help yourself.
Yeah.
How do I need to come in to save you?
Yeah. And if you don't have to, and I don't think you have to give to get, I always try to give without even expecting to get. But if you know deep down inside that you don't want to be in a position to help somebody else, then don't be that person asking for help. Right. You can't have it both ways.
Most of us are very prideful and we don't want to ask for help, especially financial help. But if someone does offer to help, I think there's a difference, right? I think if you ask someone for help, then you should do the best that you can to pay that back in some way. Even if it's not from a financial standpoint, do something to show that you appreciate it. And if you're not in a position to pay it back, be honest about that. But don't let it ruin a relationship. And I know I told y'all shiny objects, going off on a tangent on something completely different, but I think it fits because I just think that this whole conversation at the root of it, yes, we want to help and support each other, but you also don't want to do that if it's going to put you in a bad position. Whether it's your reputation, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional. Yes, we want to take care of each other. Or at least I think most of us want to be able to help and take care of each other, but we have to make sure we're not doing that at our own expense.
Absolutely.
We are going to wrap things up there. Hope we gave you something to think about today.
Some food for thought.
I'm going to see if I can find some Adderall somewhere so I can learn how to focus.
Oh my God. You did good.
Today is a whole distraction, girl. I don't even know what we just talked about. I hope that all those that are listening, that you walk away with something. Maybe you are that person that somebody else helped and you weren't able to be there for them when they needed help. Find another way to just give back and don't let it ruin a friendship or any type of relationship. But if you are that person that constantly puts others' needs above your own and you constantly put your neck out there for people, don't let the same individual keep burning you. Don't do that to yourself. You all take care. Tracy, anything else?
No, just pay it forward, guys. It comes back.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. You've reached the end of another episode of the Cope Queens podcast. Thank you for coping with us today, and we hope you'll join us for the next episode. Until then, connect with us on Twitter at Cope Queens.